What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Dude Hind Show. In today's video, I'm continuing my series of doing a 7-round mock draft for each NFL team. I just got finished doing one with the Atlanta Falcons, and today is Sunday. Each Sunday, I've been trying to do a mock draft of the Cincinnati Bengals. Past few weeks, I've been able to because last Sunday was Easter and everything like that. So this mock draft, is a 7-round mock draft of the Cincinnati Bengals, and this is 100% my favorite mock draft I've ever done doing videos. This is absolutely fun. This is the best case scenario. This is my favorite one. I think this is the best one. So we'll go ahead and get started here. And the first hit, nobody's probably going to like it. I haven't taken Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. I know everybody likes Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell, but Jamar Chase, I would be fine with him taking him at 5. But Jamar Chase did not play with Joe Burrow in college. Not nearly as much people will want Jamar Chase on the Bengals. Lots of people say Penei Sewell is a generational offensive tackle. That could be true, but some people also have Rashawn Slater over Penei Sewell as the best tackle in the draft. Not too long ago, Daniel Jeremiah had Rashawn Slater being drafted before Penei Sewell did. If you say that Penei Sewell is a generational offensive tackle, same thing should absolutely be said for Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is not a normal tight end at all. He is a generational tight end talent that it comes once every 7 or 8 years or so. It's a lot more. It's easier to me to get a good offensive tackle and get a really good tight end. All the tight ends, in the league, it seems like throughout the past 4 or 5 years or so, the teams have had the most success have had really good tight ends. Rob Gronkowski with the Buccaneers, Travis Kelce with the Chiefs, George Kittle with the 49ers. They were in the Super Bowl. The Ravens haven't been to the Super Bowl, but Mark Andrews coming out, he was a top blocking tight end. That made him a top 10 tight end. Zach Ertz when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It seems like most teams who have a good team, for the majority of the teams, have a really nice tight end. Kyle Pitts with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon in the backfield, and Joe Burrow throwing the ball. It's going to be unstoppable. Nobody can stop Kyle Pitts. And some people, obviously pretty much everybody has Trevor Lawrence as the number 1 prospect in the draft, but lots of people have Pitts either number 2 or number 3, right beside Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle from Oregon. And I know we need tackle more than we need tight end, but it's one of those scenarios. I personally believe Kyle Pitts is better than Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. I would much rather have us take best player available than not necessarily a position we absolutely desperately need. I mean, we could use Sewell and to put him at guard. I don't trust our team doing that, having a supposedly generational talent and changing him to a guard. If Penei Sewell was a generational type of talent, I don't get why you would move him to guard. When we signed Riley Reef, he said he's playing right tackle. Obviously, Jonah Williams is more than likely going to play left tackle, but I think Kyle Pitts would be amazing in this offense. I know this is very, very, very unlikely, and it's probably not going to happen. I would absolutely love it if it did, though. To me, Kyle Pitts is probably my favorite prospect in the draft, and I would absolutely love him getting picked 5th to the Bengals. So in the second round, with LSU's Pro Day, Terrence Marshall definitely, helped his draft stock. So I don't think he'll be there in the second round. I'm not positive, but never know with the draft. But I had the Bengals taking him here in the second round. Once again, these mock drafts are from ProFootballNetwork.com. It's from Mock Draft Simulator. I cannot dictate what players are picked where, what players drop, what players have or reaches and everything like that. But Kyle Pitts and then Terrence Marshall with Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins with Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow. That is a top 5 offense in a year. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy. Kyle Pitts, that's a generational type of talent. Terrence Marshall, getting him in 38th overall, that's best player available. I mean, pretty much not who else is available. Getting Terrence Marshall at 38 is absolutely phenomenal because he had a sensational pro day. I believe he even a 4.39. He's also somebody else who played with Joe Burrow in college. As the third wide receiver, he still had 10 touchdowns and over 600 yards. I think Terrence Marshall will be absolutely perfect fit here for the Bengals in round 2. So we picked 2 rounds, and we had to take an offensive lineman. So in the 3rd round, I have been taking offensive tackle from Notre Dame, Liam Eckenberg. I think you could have, you would have Reef at right tackle this season. You can maybe move Eckenberg into guard. I really don't know, but you would have Williams at left, Riley Reef at right. You can have Eckenberg maybe play him at guard this season, but that's kind of your intention. So I'm not re-signing Riley Reef next year. So you can have Eckenberg play right. But personally, I think this is another one of those scenarios where it's best player available. For the majority of these picks, all of these players are best player available, and they could be vital pieces to our team in the future. And they could be key contributors to our team. Some of them, like right now, like Kyle Pitts, but Eckenberg in round 3 is a phenomenal pick. I would not take him in round 2. I think it's a little bit of a reach. But in round 3, I would have no issues taking him there. And, with us, we let go, Carl Lawson is now with the Jets, but we did sign Trey Hendrickson of the Saints. Sam Hubbard, we also have him, but Sam Hubbard's a free agent 1 year from now. So in the 4th round, I have us taking edge rusher and Patrick Jones. This might be my favorite pick of this mock draft. It's either that or the Kyle Pitts pick. But Patrick Jones, you watch his games this past season. It seems like every single game, even if his bad game, he'll still get you a sack on that tackle for loss or 2. Just absolutely phenomenal. And the thing about Patrick Jones to me, it does not make any sense at all. His draft stock is dropping quite a bit. It seems like I don't understand it at all. Let's say I believe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Pro Football Network, he was around the 70 range. Now on Pro Football Network, he's around 130. You look at PFF, he's way down the boards. He's around the 150 range. I don't understand it at all. I think he's one of the best edge rushers in the draft. He's my favorite edge rusher in the class, but he's not. I don't think he's the best. Let's say we don't take an edge rusher in round 4, and we decide to take an edge rusher in round 3 instead. So somebody else, possibility is Peyton Turner from Houston. The Bengals were at his pro day the other day, and he had a really, really nice pro day. Definitely helped his draft stock there. I think Peyton Turner will end up being a day 2 pick now. But if we don't take edge in the first 3 rounds, and if Patrick Jones is there, I'm 100% taking him. Pretty much I would not trade back at all. Patrick Jones in the 4th is an absolute steal. All these picks so far, in my opinion, have been absolutely 100% A-plus picks. I know a lot of people probably don't like the Kyle Pitts pick, but I think he's best player available. I think he's a generational type of talent. But, Patrick Jones in the 4th is just phenomenal. If you're just tuning in, I'm doing a Cincinnati Bengals post-free agency mock draft, and kind of recap so far. In the 1st, we took Pitts. 2nd, Terrence Marshall. The 3rd, Liam Eckenberg. And the 4th, Patrick Jones. Something to point out, these picks, and this is from ProFootballNetwork.com, their mock draft simulator. So I can't really determine what players, fall or reaches or everything like that. Let's see here. In the 5th round, I had him taking Darius Stills, the defense tackle from West Virginia. I think it's a really nice pick here, too. We not took a defense tackle so far in this mock draft. We did sign Larry Ogunjobi from the Cleveland Browns, but he is only for a 1-year contract. And something to look at with Ogunjobi. His rookie year, he had a really nice year. His rating with PFF was graded pretty high. But each of the last 3 seasons, he has had a significant decline in play with his rating, according to the PFF. We have DJ Reader, but he's coming off a season-ending injury. We have Renell Wren. He's coming off an injury. Josh Dupa is coming back, after opting out of the season, this past year to the coronavirus. The Bengals, it looks like they like Darius Stills. I still think they've been in contact with Stills. I think this makes some sense here. I think this would be a really nice pick in round 5, getting a nice, solid defensive tackle. Another defensive tackle I like quite a bit is Jalen Tallman from Pittsburgh. He's had comparisons comparisons. I mean, if you watch his games, he actually does remind you a little bit of him. Reminds me a little bit of Geno Atkins and Aaron Donald. And if you have a chance, if you're going to compare like those two type of defense tackles, I mean, those are some of like the best defense tackles for the past nearly decade. I mean, that's really, really high. But Kevin Tolman, to me, the defense tackle from Pittsburgh would be a great pick, but Darius Stills in the 5th round from West Virginia is also a really nice pick. As we go to round 6, the Bengals have 2 6th-round picks and 1 7th-round pick. For their first 6th-round pick, I have them taking Jacoby Stevens, the safety from LSU. I really, really like this pick. I don't understand how Jacoby Stevens is so underrated, despite playing for LSU and played in the national championship game last season. We lost Sean Williams to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we did re-sign Brandon Wilson, but he doesn't play a ton of safety. He's more so of a special teams guy. We have Jesse Bates, the best safety in the league. Von Bell, he's very underrated. We signed a phenomenal contract with him this past season, but I still think we could use a little bit more help in the secondary. I know we signed Ricardo Allen, but that was just to a 1-year deal. Jacoby Stevens, to me, that would be a great pick. It's one of those scenarios. You may not necessarily need safety in the 6th round. I think we're pretty, set. I think we're good at safety. But if Jacoby Stevens is here with a 190th pick in the draft, I think you kind of got to take him. It's one of those things. Just about every single one of these picks. You may not desperately need that position, or you may not desperately, need an upgrade at that position. But some of these guys, you just cannot pass up on them, and especially Jacoby Stevens in the 6th round. So, like I said, they have 2 6th-round picks. And with their second 6th-round pick, I have them taking Elijah Mitchell, the running back from Louisiana. In case you missed, the Bengals released Giovanni Bernard this past season. He spent 8 seasons with the Bengals. And even before the news broke out with Giovanni Bernard being released, I was really hoping that we would I would really like for us to draft a running back in the later rounds. 3 running backs I would like are Elijah Mitchell from Louisiana, Brendan Knox from Marshall, and Javion Hawkins from Louisville. Any of those 3 running backs, I would be really, really happy with. I think Elijah Mitchell could be their future replacement for Bernard. We did re-sign P. Ryan to a 2-year deal. We have Trevion Williams. In the limited carries he had last season, looked like he played pretty good. And I would really like Elijah Mitchell. He's had over 4,000 total yards during his time at Louisiana. It's a great pick there. One of the scenarios, we may not need a running back because, like I said, we have Trevion Williams, we have Pete Ryan locked up for 2 more years, and we have Joe Mixon. But Elijah Mitchell's there in the 6th round with the 202nd pick overall. I would like for us to take him, and I think we should take him because it's best play available. You can never go wrong with best play available and a potential upgrade. Like that's always best case scenario. And speaking of best player available, and I'd really be a good contributor and an absolute steal. With the last pick of this mock draft, in the 7th round, I have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Coastal Carolina edge rusher Teron Jackson. Teron Jackson, to me, does not make any sense at all. His draft stock is all over the place. I've seen some mock drafts have him in the late 4th and early 5th round, but I've also seen some mock drafts have him not even being drafted. Does not make sense at all. But in the 7th round, I think that would be an absolute steal. And it's not like you're using a top draft pick on Teron Jackson. It doesn't work out. It's just a 7th round pick. It's not the end of the world. But if you look at some of our later round picks, the past decade or so, 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks, some of them we've had really nice success with. I believe Marvin Jones was a 5th round pick. CJ Uzama, 5th or 6th round pick. Alden Tate was a 7th round pick. Fitzgerald was a 6th round pick. We've had some nice players, decent players, who were drafted in the later rounds who have had pretty nice, successful careers. TJ Houshmandzadeh, one of the best wide receivers in Bengals franchise history. He was actually a 7th round pick too. So I would not be surprised at all, if we end up drafting Teron Jackson in the 7th round, if he has a pretty decent career with us, because I think he's going to be really good. And if you pair him with edge rusher like we got here in the 4th round with Pittsburgh edge rusher Patrick Jones, I absolutely love that. I mean, that's really, really nice edge rushers you're adding to this defense. Because, edge rushers, I think it's a lot big question mark than people think. Because, Hendrickson, that was an overpay in my opinion. And Tim Hubbard being a free agent 1 year from now, if you don't re-sign Tim Hubbard, you at least got Teron Jackson and Patrick Jones going to take over his place. Two really reliable edge rushers who I think will have really nice NFL careers. So that was kind of my Cincinnati Bengals mock draft. Go these picks here one more time. In the first round, Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. In the second round, LSU wide receiver Terrence Marshall Jr. In the third, Notre Dame offensive tackle Liam Eckenberg. In the fourth round, Pittsburgh edge rusher Patrick Jones. In the fifth round, Darius Stills, the defensive tackle from West Virginia University. In the sixth round, Kobe Stevens, the safety from LSU. In the sixth round, Elijah Mitchell, the running back from Louisiana. With their last pick of the draft, with their seventh round pick, they take Teron Jackson, the edge rusher from Coastal Carolina. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next time on the Sports 200 Show.